Howdy folks, welcome to Katie Phillips Scrapbook Designs. I'm Katie and this is season 3. And today we're going to work on the album cover for an album. I'm not sure what the title of the album is going to be, but it's going to be a wedding themed album. And the cover is going to be an 8x8 cover with a 2.5-inch spine. And all the materials that I use that I can find in a first run store will be linked in the description box down below. The pattern paper set that I found for this album, I did find it Tuesday morning, so it may or may not be available at scrapbook.com or Amazon or wherever. If I can find it there, I will link it down below. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if at any point in the video you have a question about the video or just have a comment you want to leave, hit me up in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoy this video and want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that you get a notification when the rest of the videos in this series go live. Now, before we get too deep into the video, I've got a question. I've got a challenge really for you guys. So I have a colleague who recently got engaged and this album is going to be for her. And there is something about her wedding and this kit that is going to create a bit of a challenge for me. So if you have an idea what it might be, leave your thoughts in the description box down below. I don't have a prize for anybody who's correct, but you'll get bragging rights, I guess. So let's get started with cutting the chipboard and assembling the wrap. And I will put measurements down here in the lower thirds. So let's get started. All right, I adhered these two 8.5 by 11 pieces of 65-pound cardstock together. And you know what? This is not how I needed to do it. I'm gonna have to set this aside for something else because I'm sure I can find something else for this. I need to rotate these the other way. So let me grab 3 8.5 by 11. You know what? That's 110 pound. I don't need 110 pound. I need 3 pieces of 65-pound cardstock, and we're going to adhere them. You know what? I think we can trim the one in the center down. So that gives us 17. We're going to trim this one down to 6 inches wide. Actually, I take that back. We're going to trim this down to 3.5 inches wide. And we can save these pieces for something else. Let's dry fit all this. I messed up. So we need, so that's 17 plus 2.5, that's 19. Oh my gosh, okay. We're just gonna leave the center one at 20, at the full 8.5 inches wide and deal with the extra cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and add our double-sided tape here. know why I pulled that all the way off. But that's okay. Push that down and okay, we're just going to pull a little tab loose here. And stay put. Now let's position everything. Okay, that's not so horrible. Well, we'll have to cut some off the sides there, but next we're going to add double-sided tape all the way around all 4 sides on the chipboard. Well, most of the sides. We'll probably leave the inside of the album, these interior pieces we're going to leave without tape for now, I think. We'll probably tape down about 1 inch. Right now for this interior section, I'm going to go all the way around the outside edges with double-sided tape. That way we get a good seal right up against the edge where everything folds over. That's where most of the strain is going to be. And we don't want the album to start, well, sorry, my double-sided tape is deciding it wants to act up. And stick to my fingers instead of sticking to what it's supposed to stick to. So around the edges of the cover is where the wrap is going to buckle and bubble, and we don't want that to happen, so that's the reason why we're going right around the edge with double-sided tape. That way we can be sure that we get very close to that edge and seal everything down. I can I'm going to go over that again. And if you want very precise edges, you can always cut the tape. I'm not that picky. All right, now for the inside, the gap here, on both sides of the gap, we're going to come down. That's about 1.5 inches. Yeah, we're going to come down a little over 1.5 inches on both sides. That way, the outside wrap will connect, and then when we do the inside wrap, we'll come all the way down over the outside wrap. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot to grab this section right here. All right, let's burnish everything down, and then we're going to start working the edge of the wrap around the cover to the inside, and grab the glue to finish gluing everything down. Real sure when that stopped recording, but I think my other camera was recording, so maybe I got something for y'all. Oh, all right, so the next step is going to be to slowly bend. Look for any gapping. Don't see any gapping or bubbling or cracking. Looks pretty good. Okay, well, the last step for constructing the album is going to be to lay a, I think I'm going to go ahead and add You know what? Scratch all that. All right, the next step is to add the interactive pieces that are going to go inside the cover. So let me grab that information. I'll be right back. We're going to add a gatefold to the cover, and the gatefold is going to be 8 inches top to bottom. So we're going to go ahead and trim this down to 8 inches. And then we're going to cut this piece to 2 4.5-inch pieces. Each of these 4-inch pieces we're going to score at 4 inches. Let's go ahead and crease those. Crease those folds. Make sure that I've got a good visual on where the front cover is at. And I want to dry fit this. Okay, that is perfect. We are going to glue these down. There's going to be a magnetized element that goes over the top. That's going to hold these gatefolds closed when the album is closed. And I think this is probably going to need 4 magnets to hold it closed. So let's grab 4 magnets. I'm going to do 2 here and 2 here. Okay, now we're going to start on the inside of the cover, and this is where we'll be able to break down and reuse some of this. So our first piece is going to be 4 by 4 1/4. Our second piece is going to be 7.5 by 8. I'm just going to trim this one down to 7.5 by 8. Our third piece is going to be 4.5 by 9. So we're going to need a different piece for that one. Let's go ahead and cut this down to 9 and 4.5. And our final piece is going to be 4.25 by 6.25. So we can use that one for this. Let's trim this down to 4.25 by 6.25. Okay, so this first piece on the 4-inch side, we're going to score that at 3.25 and 3.5. And this is 65-pound cardstock. For the 7.5 by 8-inch page, we're going to score the 7.5-inch side at 7 inches. For the 4.5 by 9, we're going to make a pocket here. We're going to score the 4.5-inch side at 4 inches. The 9-inch side, we're going to score this at 1/2 inch. And we're going to fold this under, put it flush up against the stopper there, and then we're going to score this at 8 inches. And our last piece, the 4.25 by 6.25, we are not going to score. This piece that now has a surface area of 3.25 by 4.25, we're going to glue this about halfway across, or halfway between the top and the bottom, on the open edge of the front cover on the inside. So, right about there, looks pretty good. Now, on top of that tab, we're going to glue down this pocket. And I don't want to put the pocket on top of the score line, so it's going to be just inside the score line for the 3.25 by 4.25 piece. And this flap here is going to go you know what? Really want to put down something right there before I lay that piece down. So let's go ahead and cover this right here. So we're going to take tape and we're going to go right up to about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. varnish that down. And I need to trim this down to 7 3/4. But I like, oh, you know what? I think that needs to be a little bit wider because it's going to put quite a bit of strain on this piece right there when the album is opening and closing, and these will be weak points-ish, and they'll be more likely to buckle. So I'm going to use a different piece. I'm going to cut this down to 7 3/4, and we're going to, so that's roughly 2 3/4 inches wide. I want to go at least 4 3/4. Like that better. So I'm going to go around the edge here, and I'm going to glue all over the inside. All right, now we can add this. And I want to refresh the glue real quick. It's still mostly wet, but so the last thing we're going to do on this side is add a magnet here and here. And then we're done with this side, and we'll work on the other side. For the inside of the back flap, we're going to start with 2 pieces at 8.5 by 8.5. And we are going to slice these in half diagonally, and I'm going to do that by positioning these opposite corners right at the blade and making my cut. So these pieces are now exactly 6 inches tall and 12 inches wide, which is exactly where I want them. I'm going to cut 2 inches off of each side so that they are trimmed down to 8 inches wide by 6 inches tall. Do that with one more piece. I only need 3 of these. And the last piece that I need for the inside cover is 8 by 6. And we might already have a piece that measures that. Let's see. 6. Okay, we'll cut this down to 8. Oh. Nope, it doesn't measure that. So I'm going to need to cut another one. I hate when that happens. But you know what? I wonder, it's 7 3/4. I think I can make that work. 7 3/4 by 6. Let's cut this down to 6 inches. And you know what? If it doesn't work, we'll just cut one that's 8 by 6. All right. So this piece is 7 3/4 by 8 or by 6. We are going to score the 6-inch side at 5.5 inches. Yeah, we're going to score all of these at the 1/2 inch mark. We're going to put a pretty steep taper on all of these little tabs here because they're going to be right up against each other. And we don't want to be adding unnecessary bulk. I actually want to score these one more time because I want to put 1/4 inch gusset on all of these. So let's put another score mark at the 3/4 inch line. I may regret this later, but yeah, if I do, I'll just have to find something else to do with these pieces and recut it. And we're going to score this at 5 at the 3/4 inch mark as well. So the idea for this is going to be a pocket, kind of, sort of, that can be disassembled. It's going to be held together by magnets. And, you know, weddings produce a lot of mementos. So this would be a great little spot to put mementos from the wedding. right, that's it for the cover construction. Be sure and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can come back for it next week when we start assembling the base pages for this album. We're going to be using the new kind of binding system that I used for the first time on the last video of season 2, which was the Hello Again album, and I will link to it somewhere over here. So yeah, we will see you guys next time. Bye.